Welcome to Purpose of Heart, the podcast, where real stories meet God's promises. I'm Priscilla Allman, and every week we dive into powerful conversations about purpose in the pressure through caregiving, illness, grief, addiction, and more. If you've ever asked, God, where are you in this? You're in the right place. Be sure to follow the show, and let's find purpose together. Hello, and welcome back to Purpose of Heart, the podcast. I'm your host, Priscilla Allman, and today we're going to be talking about the quiet way that God prepares you. You know, not the platform, not the applause, not the announcement, the hidden seasons, the waiting seasons, the is there anything happening seasons. If you're in a quiet place right now, this episode is for you. Friends, there is something so humbling about being in a season where no one's clapping for you. No one is validating you. No one is recognizing all of the growth that's happening underground. And sometimes, honestly, you don't recognize it either. But Scripture reminds us that God does some of his deepest work in hidden places. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness is not necessarily inactivity. Stillness is positioning. Sometimes God slows everything down so he can strengthen what matters most. We love acceleration. God values formation, and formation is rarely loud. Think about David. He was anointed king in 1 Samuel 16 and had this word spoken over his life. And then he went back to tending sheep. No crown, no throne, no palace. Just sheep. Just obscurity. Just faithfulness in the field. That quiet field season wasn't wasted. It was preparation. In the field, he learned to worship. He learned to fight lions and bears. He learned to tend and protect the sheep. He learned to trust God alone. And when Goliath showed up, David wasn't panicking. He was prepared. The battle everyone saw was won in a field that no one saw. That's how God works. Even Jesus, Son of God, lived 30 quiet years before his 3 years of public ministry. 30 years. Luke 2:52 tells us, "And Jesus increased in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and men." Sometimes we think if it's quiet, it must not be significant. But heaven measures growth differently than the culture does. Let's be honest. Quiet seasons can feel like rejection, delay, being overlooked, and forgotten. But what if it's actually protection, refinement, alignment, and strengthening? Isaiah 40:31, "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength." Notice it doesn't say those who rush. It says those who wait. Waiting allows God, the Lord, to renew your strength. Rushing exhausts you. In quiet seasons, God is renewing your strength, not wasting your time. Let's make this practical. What are some things that God can be doing in hidden seasons? He could be developing character in you. Skill might open a door. Character keeps you in the room. Proverbs 22:1, a good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. God cares about who you are becoming more than what you're achieving. He's strengthening your inner life. When no one is watching, are you still faithful? Luke 16:10, he who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. The least moments matter. The small obediences matter. The unseen disciplines matter. God trusts people with much after they have been faithful in little. He could also be purifying motives. In quiet seasons, it could be being asked the question, why do you want this? Is it for recognition or for obedience? Is it for applause or for assignment? Sometimes he removes the noise so that we can hear our own heart. And when our heart is aligned with him, our impact becomes sustainable. Let's talk a little bit about how we can respond to quiet seasons, because preparation is not passive, and the way we respond to different things can actually change our experience within them. Here's some practical things that we could do. We could stay faithful where we are. Colossians 3:23, and whatever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not to men. Even if no one sees it, even if no one applauds it, God sees it. Deepen your roots. Use this time to strengthen your prayer life. Study the word deeply, heal from past wounds, build discipline. Because roots grow downward before fruits grow outward. If roots are shallow, the fruit won't last. And honestly, neither will the rest of the tree. Proverbs 3:5-6, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. Sometimes our frustration comes from unmet timelines. I know that I'm guilty of this sometimes, thinking that by this time I would have done this, this, and this, right? But God sees the full picture. And what feels like delay might actually be mercy. We can also celebrate small growth as well. Growth in patience, growth in humility, growth in trust. Those are victories. Don't despise the small beginnings. Keeping a track record of your encounters with God, the things that you learn, right? Those things can also be helpful in terms of looking back on your life and seeing what actual progress you made. And even if you haven't gotten to the big thing yet, you may be further than you actually thought you were. Zechariah 4:10, for who has despised the day of small things? Small things are important too. But here's some encouragement. Hidden seasons, they're chapters. It's not necessarily the end. It's not a conclusion. Galatians 6:9, and let us not grow weary while doing good, for in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart. Due season. That means that there is a harvest attached to your faithfulness. But harvest comes after roots, after growth, and after formation. And also after some time. Stay planted. If you feel unseen today, you're not forgotten. If you feel overlooked, you're never overlooked by God. If it feels slow, and trust me, sometimes it feels slow, God is steady. God is preparing you in ways that you cannot see yet. One day, what feels hidden now will make sense. One day you'll look back and realize that quiet season saved me. That hidden place strengthened me. The waiting season matured me. Let me leave you with this. God is not preparing a platform for you before he prepares you for the platform. And that's whatever that platform is for his will for your life. So it could be your career, it could be your family, it could be a experience or just anything that you do in life, not necessarily a stage or something like that, but whatever he has for you in his will, he's going to prepare you for it first. And it behooves us all to wait for his timing so that we're fully able to carry the weight of whatever that is. To not just do well with it one time, but to be able to sustain it long term. He loves us too much to rush our development, even though sometimes in our timing, it feels like it's forever. I always have to remind myself, Priscilla, I don't remember the exact reference, but it says something to the effect of like, to him, 1,000 years is as one day. And one day or one moment. I'll have to check the exact reference, but something to that effect, that his view on time is not the same as ours. And I always have to say, like, sometimes I just have to remind myself, like, okay, his view on time is not the same as mine. James 1:4. But let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. Patience is doing something in you, even now, especially now. If you're in a quiet season, I want to whisper this to you today. Lord, prepare me, or I want you to whisper this today. Lord, prepare me even here, because he is. And nothing, absolutely nothing about this season is wasted. Now, honestly, some of these things are hard. It's hard to wait. It's hard to be disciplined. It's hard to, do things for long periods of time, and kind of seeing nothing seemingly in return. And although we have all these sayings to, say, oh, but, you wouldn't plant a seed one day and then go dig it up the next, or like we know things in life take time. Sometimes it's harder to reconcile the time that it takes when it's affecting you. And something that's helpful is just sometimes being honest with God, that it's hard. He already knows. He already knows exactly all of your thoughts before you've ever had them. He knows exactly what you're thinking about where you are. But just asking for help and his perspective, because he knows. Even if you don't want to admit to yourself that maybe you're having a hard time or a difficult time being patient, or whatever it is, because sometimes things take long and sometimes things take much longer than you've ever anticipated. Um, and so he knows. And I've, said sometimes, like, thought to myself, like, Lord, that I just wanted this to be, like, I wanted to be patient for like 5 minutes, not like 10 years. Like, this was not what I had in mind. But his thoughts are not our thoughts, nor his ways our ways. And so he knows and wants what's best for us. And so we can be honest with him. He's gracious, and he's wanting and willing to prepare us for the things that he has for us. So thank you for spending this time with me in this episode of Purpose of Heart, the podcast. If this episode blessed you, make sure to share it with a friend or someone who might be in a hidden season too. Until next time, friends, stay faithful, stay rooted, and trust the quiet work of God. He's still preparing you. Until next time, friends. Thanks for listening to Purpose of Heart, the podcast at www.purposeofheartpodcast.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. There's so much more God is doing, and I don't want you to miss a thing. Thank you in advance for the reviews and shares. They help this message reach more hearts. I can't wait to walk with you again in next week's episode. See you there.